So here is my Age of Empires 2 Playstyle survey, which would have been better worded. The Age of Empires 2 units and techs. Which ones get used and at which time? Survey. Now, it took me a little longer to do this video than I was planning, as I did not get as many responses as I was hoping. I only got 88 responses, as we can see, and only some of them went through the whole survey. Though I have to admit, I made it too long. But I think it's some good data to start. And my channel is pretty new, so don't expect that many people to notice it. I'll go over only questions I think are still interesting. I'll avoid most of the unit questions as they are repetitive. But we'll look at the interesting facts. First one is, during the Dark Age, which answer best describes your focus during it? As I expected, most would be building a strong economy. That's normally how I've seen people play, or getting to the next stage. There was the surprise by the one who said defeating your opponents. I have to say, whoever you are who focus on defeating your opponents in the Dark Age, you are very ambitious. Though it can be done, I pretty much did it once, but the computer crashed before finishing. Next, do you use militia during the Dark Age? Most said no, but I was surprised by how many said sometimes, because I rarely see them. But still, I think they are a way underused unit. Of course, there's not much use to them, as you can quickly get better units by advances of the ages. And then, how much technological research do you do during the Dark Age? This one, I wasn't surprised by the most numerous answer being only the age advancement tech, as I sometimes do that as well. But I was surprised by how many said all tech, because there's not much to do there. But there's always seemed to me that loom isn't the most useful tech, as it slows down the number of villages you can produce. But I'm not that experienced of a player. And how much combat do you participate in the Dark Age? Not surprised that 3 people or 60% said none. But I was surprised that there were more people who had a few skirmishes and not just a small skirmish by itself. Because the next one is interesting. How long on average do you spend in the before mentioned age? I was mage, 57% said 10 minutes. That's longer than I normally spend. I normally spend probably around the 5 to 7 minute range. Maybe if I spent more time, I could gather more resources effectively. But it does still surprise me, because I thought, from normally the way I see it, most people try to rush through the Dark Age from my nose. Do you use palisade walls in the Dark Ages? I'm surprised a majority do use them, though a majority also only sometimes uses them. So not as underused as I thought. Now on the other hand, the outpost, I'm not surprised by it being so underused, as 68% do not use them during the Dark Age. 22% only use them sometimes. So a total of 90% rarely uses them. I think part of that is because it only gives sight, and you can build other buildings to give other benefits that will give you not as much sight, but still give you sight, like a house. Maybe if outposts could store units in them and fire occasional arrows, they might be more used. That's something I always wonder why game developers did not put in. Next, we have the same questions at the start. Seems like in the feudal age, it's pretty spread out between economy and gain to the next age people. they spend the time doing during that age. But 2 people said they spent defeating their opponents. What's in ambitious people? And it looks like during this age, most people don't get that many texts. They only get some text, 57% of the people. The combat a little bit rises in normal people's playstyle. And the use of the sword line. And once again, it seems underused. Only 16% for sure use them, 43% do not use them. So it's kind of understandable with the fact that most people spend their time during this age rushing, which cavalry are better at. See, people spend usually about 10 minutes in this age as well. I probably spend a little bit more than that. Seems like the archer line is the main line that people like to use, including and the skirmish line during the feudal age. Just 56% said they used the archer line, and 41% said they used the skirmish line during that age. And scout line, probably for raiding. Fire galleys look underused, because they'll only really be used on a water map. Demo ships really underused. Of course, I quite well understand that. You only get to use it once, and then the resources from it are lost. So it's not that cost effective unless you catch your enemy in groups. Usually people still use palisade walls. Fish traps don't appear to get used much from people's reports. 78% say they don't use them during that age. And outposts are still neglected. Towers and walls seem situational. And market tech, most people said only the market, because 87% of people said that. By this point, we only have 67 responses left. But doesn't surprise me, as unless you work with a team, the other market tech isn't really worth it, as it's meant to benefit team play. Now we're into the castle age ones, fine interesting ones. Once again, the sword line seems neglected and forgot. Though I find them quite useful to keep, as you can keep a good group with a spearman. Protect your spearmen from archers, because I usually focus on the infantry playstyle. Archers and skirmishers still heavily used. Cavalry and camel line I don't use a lot, as understandable, and makes sense why spear line is favored. Though it means they don't equal out each other, as spear line is accounted for those. Rams only use some understandable, and walls use some. Now scorpion line. I already knew it wasn't very commonly used. It looks like only 10% use it who filled the survey. 65% don't use it. They found they have some advantages over the Magna line, which is much more commonly used, 47% used. Now, if your enemy can get close to your troops to do quick cavalry or other units that will cause problems like that, Scorpion line can be sometimes more beneficial than Magna line, as they won't kill your own units, and they still hit multiple units. Something recently I found while playing. Scout lines could be lessened. Siege towers don't surprisingly don't get used. Maybe they should add back an attack with the siege tower if it has units loaded in. Then they might get used. At the moment, they're kind of a gimmicky unit. They don't always get units on the other side of the wall. Outposts still not used. Walls start to be used more in the castle age. Towers, a little bit more. Still in the mark attack. Fishing traps still kind of forgot. Monks get used a good amount. 54%. Use them all the time. Ghost Imperial Age, main objective of 70% of people, defeat your opponents. I'm Either someone making a joke, and they really badly want to get to Age of Empires 3 ages, or they hit the wrong button, but someone said getting to the next age. Person, whoever you are, if you do get to the first age of Age of Empires 3, hit Age of Empires 2, let me know. I want to know your secrets. Seems like people like to research most text during this age, which means they'll have kind of a, but a trend is earlier, a lag in tech before this age, so they have to catch up, researching tech from multiple different ages. Of course, most people fight till victory. Actually, pretty sure all would, or until at least defeat. But they want victories. That's what they're aiming towards. Seems like the use of focusing on combat and economy and everything else is spread evenly, as they say. And most time is expected to spend this age, 20 plus minutes. As you know, most combat goes on this age. Sword line actually gets a little bit more use, still kind of like spear lines increase. Archer skirmish lines about the same. Hand cannoneers, I'm surprised by how little they are used. Only 18 people use them, or 30%, or 55% only use them sometimes. I guess they are a costly way of dealing with infantry. I'm surprised the cavalry and camel line went down to 5%, but I guess still good use. Still, the scorpion line is still not very favored. Neither the siege towers. They're more disliked. Surprised that Magna lines are 45%, and only sometimes at 40%. Always, as I often would see replay videos of games, see people using it heavily. I myself use it quite some amount. Trebuchets get used really heavy. 83% will use it. Of course, the best way to deal with castles. They're good number use the cannon line. I'm surprised, but it seems like galleys are the preferred ships to use. Of course, they're the most versatile. And despite the fact that fire ships counter them, if you play your galleys right, keep them in somewhat more spread group, but drawing off small parts of a fire galley fleet, you can take a larger fire galley fleet with galleys. I've done it before. Won a sea game with the Aztecs while playing against the Huns. I know, the Aztecs. Didn't think you could win a sea battle with them. Or you don't think someone would choose to do that. I think that would help you win. They didn't expect it. Palisade walls cost pretty much banned by this point. Outposts still not very used. Surprised there are people even using them anymore. Walls, towers, mostly not used. Sometimes used. Towers seem iffy if people really want to use them. Because it looks like trebuchets and cannons pretty much deal with them. Bombard towers sometimes. Marketech, carts and cogs seems like get used in the Imperial Age. Fish traps still not really used. I'm surprised monks are not more often used than just 42%. Always. I find them quite versatile. But I guess different uses. Relics, most people go for collecting relics. And do you build wonders? Most said no. Quite understandable to take time. And not the most exciting way to win. Kind of a cheap way to pull out at the end. But there is the survey. Not quite the best survey, but it's a start. Sorry if I occasionally mumbled during this video. Still working on that. We hope this gives some useful information to other Age of Empire 2 players. And this is Araminer out.